What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mag. So, of course, Newcastle United have concluded our tour of Japan, and the lads will be coming back, of course, tonight, back to Newcastle, as we have got, of course, Girona in the Salah weekend at St James's Park coming up this Friday, the 9th of August. But the game tonight in, of course, Tokyo, Japan, against Yokohama Marinos, seeing Yokohama come away 2-0 winners against Newcastle United. Now, looking at it, Newcastle started off pretty lively in the game, and the goalkeeper for Yokohama denied both Longstaff and Isak from scoring. Of course, Isak falling awkwardly on his shoulder, and he was checked over before continuing. But the Yokohama side had a lot more international players in their side than the Red Diamonds side that were played previous going into this game. Of course, the Yokohama side had a trio of Brazilians and one debutant born in, of course, Toga. And it was, of course, one of those Brazilians that put Yokohama in front 34 minutes in, and that Brazilian, of course, was Alba, who side-footed from 12 yards out after a pass from Hugo, left unattended down the right, crossing in for Alba, and Alba put it in. And it was pretty easy open goal, to be honest, for him. He was pretty much a free shot at goal. There was no defenders around him. 12 yards out, puts it in the back of the net. Half time, sees 7 changes made to our side, with Mariners fielding with a new 11 as well. Of course, new rival to the midfield, Juan Amano, beating Nicky Pope from, of course, close range to double Yokohama's lead. Of course, advantage 6 minutes after restarting the game. Murphy beaten on the byline after believing the ball had gone out of play, which it had actually gone out of play. And somehow the referee didn't see that, continued on the play, and of course, Emano for Yokohama scored and made it 2-0 in the game. But looking at it, at the end of the day, we got what we needed out of the game. We got that, competitive edge. We played two teams that are midway through their season in the J League, 10th and 11th respectively in their leagues. And at the end of the day, we got what we wanted out of this game. We got that competitive edge. We got that chance to play against somebody who is going to give you the best they've got. They're not going to half-arse it. They're going to literally give you the best they have got. And I've got to give it to Red Diamonds. They really did make that game competitive. And unfortunately for them, they lost 4-1. Today's game, or tonight's game, if you're in Japan, of course, was again another very competitive game. I've got to say, however, though, I didn't quite agree with the amount of pulling and the amount of harsh, rough tackles that were going in by the Yokohama players. I feel that there was a big amount of dangerous tackles going in on players. Trevor Sanusi, for one, the lad was absolutely getting pelted right, left and centre by Ken Machuba, I believe it was called. He just absolutely went in on players all game. The referee never gave the card. And yes, it's pre-season, but when you're going in like he's going in all game, there should be a card coming out, pre-season or not. He gave 2 cards, the referee did, to Newcastle's players, of course. Them cards went to, I believe, one went to Lloyd Kelly on the 43rd minute, and one went to Ben Parkinson on the 66th minute. We did get to see the debut of Lloyd Kelly. I've got to say, he put a good shift in. He did really well for it. Then, of course, on the 46th minute, we're seeing Isak go off, Bruno go off, Fabian Shaw go off, Kelly go off, Livramento go off, Barnes go off and Odi Vlachodimos going off as well. Nicky coming on, Murphy coming on, Ashby coming on, Byrne coming on, Kraft coming on, and Trevor Sanusi coming on, Parkinson coming on. And then on the 65th minute, we're seeing Lewis Hall going off and Jamal Lewis coming on. Alfie Harrison coming on for Joe Linton on the 65th minute. Then, of course, like I say, you know, Travis Sanusi was getting kicked about a lot, so he ended up having to go off on the 88th minute and being replaced by Jay Turner-Cook. So we've got to see a good amount of players play in this tournament, and of course, it was just nice to see, you know, that we got a good running, we got a good amount of fitness out of it, and I'm sure the lads will benefit from this going into the season. Obviously, we've got the game against Girona coming up, which is the start of the Salah weekend. And then, of course, the other game for the Salah weekend, it will be, of course, against Stade Brestois at St James's Park. And, of course, the Lasses are also playing at St James's Park during the Salah weekend as well, when they take on AC Milan. So, massive game for the Lasses. And it's going to be, hopefully, a chance for Newcastle to defend our Salah weekend trophy and hopefully you know, retain the trophy as well. Two really good sides in Girona and Stade Brestois as well. So we'll see how it goes against them on the 9th and 10th respectively. But at the end of the day, you know, the main thing about going to Japan was to get the minutes under the legs of the players, get them fit and ready for the season, and also as a PR move as well to build the fan base over in Japan. Obviously, there's a lot of diehard fans already over in Japan, expats and Japanese fans as well, that have been supporting Newcastle United for years, as we've seen and I've talked about in previous videos already. You know, fans that have been supporting us since the 90s, fans that have been supporting us for a very, very long time from very far away in Japan, you know. So that shows their dedication, their loyalty to support Newcastle United, and you know, obviously will have made a lot more fans off of this trip as well. So it's been very successful. Yes, it might have ended on a bit of a sour note with a 2-0 loss to Yokohama, but at the end of the day, we got what we needed out of it. We got the fitness, we got the PR ability from it as well, and you know, we'll take that and we'll move on, and we'll just keep building, because that's what it is. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to take time, it's going to take patience to get to where we want to be, and we've heard it, you know, by the owners plenty of times, that, you know, patience is a virtue. It will take time, and we will get there. But I've got a lot of hope for this season, which you will hear my thoughts on that when I do my Premier League predictions for this season, where I think teams are going to finish, which will be coming up on the channel in the coming days. But let us know your thoughts, you know, down in the comments below. I wasn't the biggest fan of the commentator today neither, and when I found out who it was as well, it didn't really help matters, in the fact that, of course, it is the main commentator for LFC TV, John Bradley. He just really didn't like Newcastle United. It was quite obvious by the way he was talking in the game today. You know, saying Bruno's going to leave, saying Anthony Gordon's going to leave. Well, you just don't have the money for them. So, you know, until anybody has the money that Newcastle United's asking for Bruno or, you know, Gordon or any of our players, then, you know, you can keep our players' names out your mouth, because at the end of the day, if you can't afford them, then you can't talk about them. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. Till next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out as well for that video for the Premier League predictions. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, the lads.